content. I'll show you mathematics, science, English, social science, but the primary focus in the entire content, no matter which subject, is building the foundations and embedding teaching and assessment in the classroom and learning and self-assessment at home. That's the nutshell what I want to present. Content completely aligned with what you're supposed to be doing in CBSE school and focusing on the foundations. How do we focus that? I assume you trust me that I don't have to show the table of content. It's all aligned according to the syllabus. Say, for example, I pick up the very foundations, 1, 2, 3. If your child doesn't know the tables, he won't go very far. Do you find a situation when the child doesn't know the tables and you think, oh, I know it? Very common. What you say is, if you know it, good, test it out. Nobody's watching you. And if you don't do it, if you don't know it, work on it. That's the theme. Say, for example, I pick up multiplication tables itself. First 4 or 5 slides are explaining that multiplication is nothing but repeated addition of the same object. I'll give you a small slide on that. You have 6 objects. You add that 6 3 times. You have 18 objects. Basically nothing but 6 times 3. Simple concept of multiplication visually. Coming to the practice on tables. Here are simple 10 questions. The opening screen is for the diagnosis for the child. Do you know the tables? Yes, I know. Okay. Do it right now. Enter the answer, enter the answer, enter the answer, click on done. The first page is diagnosis. Second page, create here a custom practice sheet of your own. All right. How many questions I should have? If I am a slow student or whatever, let me have 20 questions. And now I want to show you, so let me take 10 questions. In which mode do you want to take this? If I'm a smart student, hey, I know this stuff, don't bore me. Well, that's okay, it will take just 1 minute. Take it out, test out. Maybe your assumptions are wrong. 10, in which mode? Solution? No, I don't want solution. Check button, you want to be told about the answer. If it is wrong, you can change it. No, I'm a smart guy. You want to test it? Yes, test it. How smart you are. Can you do these 10 questions in half a minute? Yes, I can. Put up the time. Half a minute. Click and go. Now, time is running. I have to enter the answer. Enter. Whoop, 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 whoop. Enter. 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 Okay. I got it. In how many minutes? Seconds? 23 seconds. Fine. What do I do? Now, new set. All right. New set. 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 How many new sets? Infinite. That's where the technology is. Can you do it as a teacher? No way. All right. Now, I'm a smart guy. I want 20 questions. I go back. I put at 20 questions. And 20 questions I want to do in 1 minute. And I want the test mode. And click on go. I have 20 questions to be finished in 1 minute. If the time is running on the top, and so on. And how many sets of 20 questions? infinite. All right, let me close it. This option, we call this as MOPS, multiple option practice sheets. MOPS, multiple option practice sheets. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? You'll remember it? And you will have this for every topic, no matter what topic. For teachers, I want to print practice sheets. I want 20 questions and I want print and click on go. And print with answers. Print with answers, print it, or print without answers. And then you can print as many sets as you want. And on which topic? On every topic. This fundamental thing, this is called what? Rote memorization. Let me give you a small more example, more tedious, little bit more. You want a division with remainder, multiplying division. The opening page comes with a simple rule. Small application which involves division and what is left over. 17 pieces of candy are divided equally among 3 children. How many will each child receive and how many will remain? You divide, you have a divisor, you have a quotient, and you have a remainder and so on. And start the practice. 10 questions. Okay, time is running. So, what is this? This is not a whole set, one by one.
Super! Wow, you did it right. Very good.
Thank you.
Good job.
I'm slow on the keyboard, but your kids will do it very, very fast.
Perfect. Terrific. Correct answer.
Let me enter wrong.
Try again. Do it again. Understand from the solution and press enter to move to the next question.
Is the solution here?
Good work. Wow, you did it right. This is your last question. Are you sure you want to submit?
Okay, now you have all the 10 questions. You write your name, click or printer button, and you have 90%. You finish in 1 minute 47 seconds, and keep it in your folder. Show to your teacher or to your mom. Okay, and now again, as before, how many sets of questions? Infinite sets, and so on. Now, this is skill building. As you go to fourth level, fifth level, slightly higher level. 1 to 3 is foundations. If your foundations are strong, then of course everything else will build on top of it. What we have done is, if you are getting a 4th grade, we shall build 1 to 3 within that as prerequisite. If you are teaching a 4th grade class, spend 1 week or 2 weeks only on the foundations. Make sure that every child got a perfect score 2-3 times in tables, 2-3 times in addition, 2-3 times in multiplication, 2-3 times in division. So in everything, those are fundamentals. The child has a perfection in that. You spend 2-3 weeks time on that. One skill, 1 day, or one skill in 2 days. And after that, you can more than make up that time for the rest of the weeks or rest of the month. So, now when you go to 4th and 5th, the level changes. Level changes. Say for example, you have shapes. Here's a small question. Can the following net be used to make a cube? These are thinking, what you call as provoke thinking. This is something that you can't teach. You can only ask the child to think about it. You can guide them, all right? Look at the solution and see how to think. Fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it. Yes, it forms a cube. All right? And now, again like before, click on the new set. And now let the class think. If you are my class, please think about it. And raise your hand if you know the answer. If you fold it without cutting, will it form a cube? Let everybody think. How many of you think it will form a cube? Yes or no? How many of you think it will not form a cube? May I see your hands? Well, you know what? That's what happens in the class. 70% of the class is not thinking at all. Another 20% doesn't know what to answer. And 10 students are curious, 10% are curious. I want you to think, please. Don't sit idle. This is no mathematics. This is just thinking. Will it form a cube? No. Okay, most of you said no. Nobody said yes. Let me check it. All right. New set. Think again, please. Will it form a cube? I want everybody to be thinking. This is my class. And that's what I as a teacher in the classroom is supposed to do. To get these students to think. Will it form a cube? How many you say yes? May I see your hands? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many say no? How many of you are not thinking? Okay. All right. There are more answers for no. Let me check for that. You are correct. Well, reinforce once again. Reinforce once again. It doesn't form a cube. Now, next question is more challenging. You are given a figure that when folded together will form a cube. Will form a cube. Now think, what letter will be opposite to F? What letter will be opposite to F? Opposite F will be? All right. How many agree with that? All right, let us check. That is fine. Now, let me create a practice sheet. I did that in the class. My student responded just like you are responding. Now the child is studying at home. He was not raising a hand because he was never sure for yes and no. And now let him practice himself. All right, click on the practice sheet, 10 questions and with solutions. If I am a weak student, I'll start with solution. I don't have a confidence. If my confidence level is little bit up and down, I'll go with what? Second option, B2, check. That means you can enter the answer, you can check whether it's right or wrong. If you're wrong, you can answer again, provided it's not multiple choice. So, I want 10, I want check, and I can finish it in 1 minute, and I click on go. So I have 10 questions, as many as I wanted, as a student. You can either use this projection in the classroom, let the class do it, and let the child do at home 1,000 times, till the time he gets 100%, till the time he learns how to think. And this kind of problem will never be a problem for him in future. All right? Now, who is the smart guy amongst you? Question number 1. Yes or no? Say it louder. No. Number 2. Number 3. Yes. Number 4. Opposite to R. Sorry, the time is up. Okay. All right. So, 4 and 5 are difficult, as it seems. Therefore, we submit it, click on done, say yes, or do you need more time? Yes, we need more time. Number 4, guess it. Number 5. Let me guess it. Now let's complete the whole thing. Now match the shape to its net in this. What is common to this? This and to this. This doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. I'm goofing it. And now click on done. Say yes. And we got a bad score, 80%. Doesn't matter. We did this thing was wrong. Click on solution. All right, we did this wrong, or we didn't attempt it. Click on solution. So, opposite R was G. All right. And this happened to be all correct. No, I made some mistakes. No problem. What do I do? New set, new set, new set, new set. I keep on doing it until the time I do 100% at least 3-4 times. That is called, my friends, skill development. Doesn't matter what activity. Can you imagine how difficult it is to create this activity? Each and every screen, the power of graphics, the simplicity of the screen, an infinite number of graphics. That is where the power comes of technology, provided it is delivered properly. It's not just cutting and pasting, as Dr. Chinda was saying. Let's go back. So, tutorial part. Tutorial and MOPS, tutorial and MOPS, tutorial and maths. Learn and assess, learn and assess. And that the mode throughout the content everywhere. But learn and assess at the same time. You don't have to wait for assessment. At the same time. Teacher is using tutorials for discussion and using MOP for the class to do it. Every time. Full engagement. Discussion is also very important. For example, let me take a very small concept. Very small concept. I'm focusing on small, easy things because, my friends, all of you are not math teachers. So, but don't get an estimate that we are talking only of this level math. I'll come that story to other parts. Say, for example, here, you are adding numbers, simple addition. You talk carryover. If you add the first column is what? 14. And how do we teach the child? You do what? Do 1. 1 over carryover. Do we ever tell the child what carryover means? Normally we don't. Okay? So, you don't have to tell even now, only show it. 14 is 10 plus 4 and 10 goes on top of this thing. So, even if you forget to say that, simple presentation will help the child understand what carryover means. Whether you are carrying over the 10 or 100 or 1000, they know what carryover means. Simple things. Go back. Let me go to the higher level. Again, whether you are teaching 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, so on, the content is what you call as, the curriculum is taking a spiral approach. You teach the same concepts every year, but adding a little bit more and make it more difficult. Entire math content is divided into 5 strands. For all these grades, 5 strands. What are those 5 strands? Number system, algebra, geometry, mensuration, and probability statistics. These are 5 strands in every grade. So what we do, what we recommend is, for every grade, have the 5 strands of the previous grade as prerequisite. Let the child, before they start 6th grade, they consolidate what they have learned in 5th grade. It may take you 1 month or 2 months, doesn't matter. But at every grade, keep on building the foundation of what prerequisites are supposed to be. We don't have to just keep on discussing more and more and more and more without understanding where the class is. So, what we do, math fundamentals for every course, prerequisites. Here, 5 strands for every grade. For every grade, this will change. For example, I pick up geometry. Whatever the child is supposed to have learned from grade 1 to grade 5, in grade 6, that becomes prerequisite. Give them a solid foundation. It is up to you now, whether you want to focus on 1 strand in 1 week or 1 month, it is up to you. But make sure that they have the foundations first. No teaching here. Because this is supposed to have learned in previous grade. But teaching and assessment is all bedded within that. How is it given? Say, for example, geometry. Since it is a whole lot review of from 1 grade to grade 5, whole lot review, so you don't have just 5 or 6 questions. You will look at the screen. This has now 5 pages. Each page has 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. So 5 times 4, how many questions? 20 questions. These are the 20 types of questions that covers the entire geometry portion of your previous grade. First one is what? Point segments raised, they need to know that. Second one is what? Type and names of the angles. Third one is what? Parallel lines, perpendicular lines, intersecting lines, and things related to that. Next, what? Approximate measurement of the angles, relationship between parallel lines and transversal, and next, and next, and next. So you have all the questions, and then each set has what? New set, new set, new set, new set. So again, as before, how many sets? Infinite sets. You want to practice in whichever way. Click on this, You want in a solution mode, or check mode, or test mode. And set your time, 10 minutes, and click on go. The clock is running now. You have to finish in 10 minutes all these questions, and so on. So master each and every prerequisite for that grade. Next comes 6th grade. Again, see the types of activity you have laid down. First one is discussion. That contains diagnostics and teaching. Diagnose your class, what you are going to teach, whether they already know it or not. Next is examples. Examples are reinforcement of what you are discussing. Next is practice. So going towards assessment now. This is all for the same class on the same topic. And every topic will have these activities. Now discussion, how is it organized? Discussion. Say for example, I'm having 6th grade multiplication of fractions. Simple illustration. You don't have to talk too much in the class. Let the class watch. You only intervene at one point or the other. You have one part is shaded, so there is 1/3. Now you are now talking about multiplication of fractions. Divide each part into 4 equal parts. Equal part is emphasized through that small animation. Equality is important. And each part is what? 1/4 of that 1/3. And now you can count it. What is 1/4 of 1/3? It's basically 1/12. So you are giving the meaning of multiplication of a fraction. Multiplication of fraction is nothing but fraction of a fraction. We don't emphasize these small things. This fraction, this fraction, how to multiply? Well, cross this, so on, blah, blah, blah. Give them some meaning. What multiplication means, what addition means, what carryover means. Simple things. But they say that graphic speaks thousands of words. And that is where the power is. That is where the difference between the textbook static page and the dynamic or electronic page, provided it's produced like that. So, say for example, I'm taking long division. And now I'm discussing, I'm a teacher in the classroom. Simple step I have shown for the class to see what's going on the screen. And now it stops. And we call that instructional pause. Click and space bar. This space bar, we call that as instructional pause. That means stop and ask. Again, in the new technology mode, the mode of teaching should not be talking, teaching, talking all the time. And most of the time you're back toward the students and you're typing on the board. That time is gone. Your students don't have the patience to watch your back all the time. No. You'll have a lot of classroom problems. Now what you need is you face the class, look in the eyes, and watch them, engage them, and this is how you engage. At every step, you ask, stop. Stop for what? Ask questions. The knowledge is within. Let it get it out. And job of a teacher, my job as a teacher is to find out which question to ask from which student. Ask a difficult question from a smart student. Let him satisfy his curiosity or his chauvinism. Otherwise, he'll be a problem for you in the classroom. Ask a middle-level question from a middle-level student. Ask an easy question from a slow student. You have to create a very healthy, positive atmosphere in the classroom and not to be vindictive for any student to embarrass them. So that's where your attitude and your teaching comes in. So here, you use these words. That is dividend, this is divisor, and that's the partial quotient. And use that word again and again and again. The more you use, the more the student, it will sink in the students. So, how do you get 2x square partial quotient? Don't tell them again, just ask. The student may not be able to use appropriate language, but you as a teacher use that. We took 2x cube. What is 2x cube? that is the leading term of a dividend. Leading term of dividend, provided the dividend is organized with decreasing powers of the exponent of x. Explain in that part. Where does x come from? Where does this x come from? Where does this x come from? This is again the leading term of the divisor. So you get the quotient. What is the next step? Show the next step, and with the due apologies, if I as a teacher don't know what the next step, I show it here and then explain. If I know it already, then I say something before it comes on the screen. Don't mind my saying it, because, my friends, we are all human beings. You have been teaching 8th grade content for last 15 years. And now your principal says, from next semester, you have to teach 9th grade. And you have been struggling throughout the summer to review the book and learn all the things. And then when the first day of a class comes, when the topic you are teaching first time after 16 years, my friend, it's a challenge. We have to see the reality. It's a challenge. You will be afraid, you may not lose a sequence. You may not forget a step. So, these lecture notes empower you to camouflage your weaknesses. If you know the content, say it before it comes on the screen. If you don't know, say it after it comes on the screen. You know the content anyway. It's simply a question of recalling. It's not that you don't know it. You have learned it while you were a student or long time ago. So that is how you can camouflage the weaknesses of a teacher with this technology. So here, what's the next step? Next step is you multiply the partial quotient with this thing using distributive property, and it stops again. What's the next step? And so on. You got the message. So at every step, it stops, it stops, it stops. And at the end of the lecture, I will not explain these things again and again on all slides, but just giving you the approach. How a teacher in the classroom can make his classroom really interactive, engaging, and don't miss a step. Remember those good characteristics of a teacher I mentioned? Content on your fingertips, staying articulate. The articulation also automatically improves when you are forced to move step by step. You can't speak faster. You have to slow down. You can't miss any step because they're all pre-organized for you. So all the good characteristics of a teacher are embedded into the animations and graphics of the system. That is how an ordinary teacher like me can be a better teacher than what he or she is. So, next step, you just subtract it. That means change the signs and add and so on. And sometimes you can't explain in the classroom. I pick up a small example. How to bisect an angle? आप प्रकार तो यहाँ स्क्रीन पर ला नहीं सकते, तो क्या करेंगे आप? अब ला सकते हैं आप. देखिएगा. Click on this. Usual construction, what is given? Any angle. Which angle? Doesn't matter. Any angle. What is to be proved? Not to prove, but to construct. Construct a bisector. Then start the process. Step 1, take any angle. And then what? With B as the center, draw an arc and intersects ray BA and other ray at E and F. What next? Again, step by step. Pause, instructional pause at every step for the student to be engaged. All right, next step is do the same thing from other side so that the two small arcs cross and you have an angle bisector. Click on the steps, keep it on the screen. If the students have that instrument with them, they can start doing it, keeping the steps. But this was easy. But some questions are very difficult. if you want to draw parallel lines to two circles or common tangent to two circles, it will require at least 10 different steps. Very difficult to teach, but you can easily demonstrate. These are my friends' lecture notes. Especially for higher level courses, for 11th and 12th grade math. Anybody teaching math for 11th and 12th? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple sample, I won't take too much time. Just watch it. Supposing small ideas how it can be illustrated. Measurement of an angle. You are explaining the concept of a radian. Degree is very common. What's a radian? Well, it's simple illustration. I won't explain too much, but it's just the idea. Radian is a radius r, and that arc r equal to the radius. Simple illustration. You don't have to explain anymore now. I'll repeat once again. Let the child watch it. Radian is just a measure of an angle made by an arc whose length is equal to the length of the radius. And now he's watching it through animations. Supposing you want to find conic section. There are 4 conic sections. Circle, you have ellipse, you have parabola, and you have hyperbola. Why all this we call as conic section? Because they came from the cone. They are simply cross sections of the cone. Simple illustration. You can never have that on the screen while you're teaching. And now all the brief illustrations before you prepare for the exams are all hidden behind this. This is hyperbola. This is a real hyperbola, double-sided. This is 3-dimensional image. And now this is 2-dimensional image that you see in the book. You have asymptote 1 and asymptote 2. And all the information, basic information given along that. Suppose you have so on. You got the idea. Huge, extensive collection of the materials. Next comes examples. Tutorials, first of all, review of fundamentals. Then comes tutorials or your discussion. Next comes examples. And watch it, the beauty of examples and how they are presented. For each and every topic, you will have so many examples, and each example will have infinite variations. Watch it. Supposing this is 7th grade stuff, very simple, very easy. But see the idea behind it. How can we discipline our children for remembering how to enter the answer? These are 2 parallel lines and transversal. You need to find the value of ABC. Let me take up different version. What is A equal to? 60. Help me please. What is B equal to? What is B equal to? 120. What is C equal to? 60. All right. How many of you agree with that? May I see your hands? I'm sorry, you're all wrong. He's asking you, what 60? He's asking you, what 60? You see? Your unit is correct, your number is correct, but number without a unit has no meaning. The system did not grade you wrong. No, it's only cautioning you. Hey, be careful, enter the unit. And then the other part, in mathematics, this is free response. In mathematics, when you enter the answer, mathematics is a language of symbols. You don't have all these symbols on your keyboard. How do you enter the answer? What we have done, this is where we spent millions of dollars that Dr. Chinda referred in the United States. For every question in the system, we have a small keypad on the screen. That keypad is not a calculator. It's a keypad for entering the answer. And it will have that symbol that you need for that question. For every question, there's a new keypad containing the symbols that you need for that question. So, I'll go back, put my cursor here, and degree, put my cursor here and degree, and put my cursor here and degree, and now I enter the answer. Simple stuff, but makes a difference. Every small accumulation of the knowledge makes the knowledge big in anybody's child. And again, new version, and so on. And now let me give you towards the assessment. Watch it here. Version and solution. Supposing I hide these two buttons. Then look at the screen. What does it become? So, no two students sitting together will have the same test. So no cheating, no copying. You have your homework and you have your homework, they're all different. It will be automatically graded. You don't have to grade it. You don't have the time anyway. Automatically recorded in your grade book. That is the power of technology, my friends. All those things that we are not able to do, technology helps us to do that. So, let me go back. Simplifying radicals again. And I am a teacher, 9th grade, first time I'm asked to teach, and I don't know how to do it. So, what do? I don't explain, I click on solution and explain step by step. And I explain only when the step comes on the screen. And then what happens? I'm not only teaching, I'm also learning. My friend, in this age, when education is expanding so fast, and especially so-called right to education slogans are coming up, how many schools are opening every year? Where are the teachers coming from? And how will the teachers come from where? Are our education schools producing that many teachers? Well, let me not go to that issue. The bottom line is, we need empowerment. Empowerment in so many ways. Not only in methodology and presentation, but also in the content. Now here, this is a difficult question for an ordinary teacher. How to simplify this radical expression? You have to take out everything that you can and make sure that the denominator does not contain a radical sign. So, I don't know this. I'll click on solution. And I bring it back, just like a marker board. And then the rule is on the right side. We use the quotient rule of radicals. Divide the numerator denominator separately. And now we use the product rule. 3x square is radical 3 and radical x square. And then we simplify. Radical x square becomes x because x is non-negative. And now a crucial thing that a teacher sometimes misses to explain. X must be taken to the left side. That's the right way to write mathematics. Because if you extend the radical bar a little bit, it can be confused as if x is inside the radical. So, show it by little, animation. Every small thing that you present in the classroom is making an impact on the child. Because he's watching. And now finally, rationalize and then simplify. And so on. So each example has again infinite variations, just like anything else. Let me go back. Next is practice sheets. Now we are moving towards assessment. Again, simple thing from 9th grade. Factor the following trinomial with a leading coefficient 1. How many of you teach mathematics? May I see your hands, please? Okay. But this level of mathematics, all science teachers use that too. I hope so. Factor the following trinomial. If the leading coefficient is 1, you have only 5 types of questions. x1 is a times x1 is b. x1 is a times x plus b. x plus a times x plus b, so on and on. And you have each type of question. And then what? You have infinite variations. Infinite variations. You don't have to have 200 questions in the exercise, just one set. And do it 100 times until the time you do it right all the time. Same spirit as before. Next comes how fast you can do what you have learned. Test your skill. How fast you can do what you have learned. Again, simple demonstration. Supposing I have introduction to polynomial. Look at this simple, straightforward screen, but how rich it is. You have so many sets of questions, 10 in each set. Any set. How much time I can finish in 1 minute? Feedback yes and no, yes, but I have to finish in 1 minute. The moment I click on start, watch me. The moment I click on start, the time runs at the bottom here. Now here, the constant number 1. Constant number 0, that was difficult. How many terms? 3. Degree of the term 6. Degree of the term, that was difficult, 0. Coefficient of x5, 8. Made a mistake. x5, 5. Type of this is a monomial. This, not a polynomial. This is a trinomial. Is a cubic. And I did all that in how much? 40 seconds. I still have so many seconds. What will happen when the time is over? The whole keyboard will freeze and the system will say, sorry, the time is up. So you click on submit. You got your response, click on report. You have all the 10 questions, what the answers you entered, how they were checked, and then what? Enter your name, click on printer button, and show to your mom. Hey, I finished in 40 seconds. Look at this, my friends. All these activities for each and every topic of every chapter of every objective of your course, completely laid down as per your syllabus, is embedded in the instrument that you will get here before you leave. This is for mathematics. How many of you are still listening to me? May I see your hands, please? Am I doing okay so far? Hello.